All right. Another episode of The Bulk Truth live. No, we're recording. You know, when they said, take that show on the road, Royce
Great,
took it literally, right?
Great Falls, Montana.
There he is. No matter where he is, he's here to share about the Bulk Truth. So you just you left a show called Jeeps. Explain what Jeeps is, and then tell us a little bit about that show, Royce.
Sure. So last week we were at the Jeep show. It's Grain Elevator and Processing Society. I believe there's 3,000 to 4,000 people at the show in Kansas City. Had an opportunity to present, launch a new product series, the Veracity Diamond flow sensors, at an innovation station, and then we had a lot of foot traffic. I think we had over 145 people that came to our booth, and we're looking for additional information. So very successful show, and that organization continues to impress me as far as the amount of engagement. People are looking for problems or looking for solutions, and willing to have discussions.
Perfect. So you got to show off your new product that you're excited about. Tell us about your new product.
So the Veracity Diamond series. So we now have expanded. Before, I think we said 50 pounds to 50,000 pounds, but we actually had a 3D printed model on the floor show. Thank you. I love this. And so we were actually doing a live demonstration. And so we were measuring 17 pounds of flow in 17 seconds, or 17 seconds of flow, and we were measuring it to the ounce. So it really demonstrated how accurate the technology can be, and really opening doors to measure material flow in very tight, confined spaces. And so we're excited about the new product. The truck loading product that we were featuring at the show measures 20,000 pounds a minute, or 20,000 bushels an hour, in less than 12 inches of clearance. And so that seemed to go over very well with the crowd, but then we had a lot of exploration for other applications, and actually had a chance to deliver a few units late last week, and that's why I'm in Montana today or this afternoon. We just dropped another unit off, heading back to Nebraska.
So the big deal about this new unit is it doesn't need much space to fit in all the places that it can be advantageous.
That's correct. And that's a game changer. I mean, we've had a lot of interest in our technology over the last 3 years, but this is making it very easy for customers to find the space and do the installation. And it seems to be accelerating the adoption based on current outlooks.
Exciting. So today's topic is mass balance, the holy grail of processing. I think that's got a little Catholic influence on this title here.
Well, I've heard this over the last few years, but I actually had a chance to observe it in action. So took one of our flow sensors up to Michigan last week to a bean plant, and was able to walk through the plant. And what we're doing with the initial sensor is measuring the process flow feeding into the plant. And as we look downstream and looked at additional opportunities, there's a lot of conversation as far as what was occurring in their process previously. So not knowing how much material was coming in, there's a lot of starting and stopping. And so not only is that significant as far as the wear on the equipment, but the impact on the process as far as loss, inconsistency, quality. And so it helped us really see in real time as far as the opportunities for creating mass balance and the importance of doing that.
So help me out. I'm a little dense here. Mass balance, just give me a good definition of what that means to me.
That's a good question. I should look that up. But good quality, consistent flow. And so where you're not surging and starving equipment, where it's just continuous. So where people are having to open something up or turn something on, it's just not hitting it, and then it has to stop. And so you got this surge effect. And so really just balancing that out and create it more constant and more uniform throughout.
So the bulk materials would be flowing in a more steady pattern instead of like start and stop. It seems like it would be a lot of wear and tear on the equipment too.
Definitely. And better for our overall operations. I mean, obviously, we continue to talk about people that have a lot of experience. They just know, and they were using the word, they could listen, they could hear it. Well, I wasn't able to hear it. It wasn't haven't had that level of experience yet, but I could just envision, when those people aren't available, how challenging it might be for a new operator to continue to replicate what is normally being done.
Yeah, they can hear it, but you couldn't. That's interesting. We got an infographic here we're going to bring on stage. So this is mastering the mass balance, the blueprint for yield optimization. So tell us a little about it. We're going to start here at the top. For those that are listening, we're looking at an infographic on the various aspects of improvements and what it means to an organization to be able to adapt or maintain mass balance.
So I think last week what I was hearing was really they were looking to have visibility as far as creating that process optimization. And so, ultimately I use the word ultimately like a million times every time we have this call, but I'm trying to check myself on it. And so when we're looking at process optimization, you've got the input side, but I like how the infographic put it together that it's not just the output, but the associated loss or cost of that process, right? So the output's generally measured, but what's not measured are those losses or that quality impact or the wear on equipment. And so I feel like this really helps visualize what we're seeing.
So we have waste is kind of like an accepted invisible tax that is just accepted in the organization. And then it's reactive. It's not predictable. And then so your product is able to eliminate that and put all of that back into the output plus more.
Yes. So our vision around creating visibility and transparency, now with these new veracity sensors, the fact that they can be so compact, so small, all the way up to that large, if you will. And so it really doesn't matter where in the process that they're needing to measure. And so not only feeding into the process, but as they go after separators, after cleaners, after hammer mills. And so they can actually look at what's happening throughout the process and measure that and make possible. Initially, they may be making manual adjustments, but at some point in the future, as they gain confidence, they could be automating those adjustments to dial in their equipment.
So when you're mapping those critical points, how does that? Do they already know those, or do you help identify those? So there's probably some areas.
I think they already know them. What I'm seeing is what we're doing is bringing them a tool to help digitize that information, where they know it or they have a good idea of what's happening. There was a gentleman that we were with last week, and he was talking about using a sensor to measure what's coming into the plant. But then he described through their process an area that was very tight and confined, that they once a day were taking measurements, and then they would apply the measurements across the next 24-hour shift. And so it was something that they were doing manually every 24 hours. And the potential of having one of these sensors on each of those pipes to know in real time exactly what's happening and creating that visibility, they could be automating throughout the day, not still guessing what's happening. And what we've learned, what I think we always see is, the thing we can count on is inconsistency in process. And so, where we're striving for consistency and mass balance, there's always that factor of what is the average. But to hit the average, you've got wide swings generally.
Do you remember the type of material that they were measuring, that particular example?
I think it was oats and oat groats in that process. And so we had a lot of interest at the show in different processing facilities with different materials, and we've got a long list of people to start following up. And the experience thus far is customers tend to get the first sensor to measure what's coming into the process, and that opens the door to have further discussions once they have confidence in what it's doing in downstream processes as well.
So I think I know the answer to this question here, but the smartest way to prove ROI fast and scale from one sensor to plant-wide intelligence, how would you answer that, Royce?
It's always start with one. Keep it simple. Find a way to see what the impact could be and what it can measure in your plant, in your process. You prove it to yourself and your team and your management as far as what the return on investment and what the true value could be. And I think what we're seeing is it's less about the cost of the sensor. It's the major cost is that inefficiency. It's that loss that you're experiencing 24/7 every day that you're operating, and you have that potential to clean that up and do better.
That loss that you just mentioned, the loss area. Who's the most concerned about that? Is it generally the person that's responsible for documenting or listening or using the hammer? Is it that person?
I think operations have I think there's a lot of pride in operations as far as doing the best they possibly can, and in most cases they are with the tools that they're allowed or that they have at their disposal. So we're with these flow sensors, we're providing them a new useful tool to just make their operations better and their performance and their value even higher.
All right. Awesome. So successful conference. Now he's running and following up on a bunch of folks. Where you said you're going where next?
I am heading to Nebraska and then Kansas.
Wow. You put some miles on this rig.
We've got a lot. Josh will be in Illinois and Iowa this week, so we're going in all directions.
It's still a studio, whether he's at home, whether he's on the road. It's the Bulk Truth. Royce, if someone's been listening, what's a great way to connect with you?
info@kadaro.com is a good way to get the conversation started. And from there, we can set up a call or meeting request and connect on what the challenges and opportunities might be in your operations.
You also got LinkedIn. You can find Royce there at LinkedIn /Royce Schulte, spelled just like it sounds. And you can call them at 806-383-7445. Royce, so when they call, what's that conversation sound like?
Generally, it's going to sound like we're going to set a Teams invite and visually start walking through what their challenges and opportunities are and provide some commercial examples of what we've done in other areas. And in some cases, people want to talk to somebody that's already done it. So we've got references and start with it, finding that one place that we can put in a unit to demonstrate its performance.
Awesome. Keep on the lookout. I'm going to have a refreshed version of Kadaro.com coming soon, real soon. Another good episode, no matter where. He's total showbiz. You can put him on the spot wherever he is, and he shows up and does a great job. Royce, this is your show, The Bulk Truth. Great work today, sir.
Thank you.
All right, that's a wrap.